Good afternoon and welcome to Growing Together episode number 5. Today we have the legend. We have a star. We have that legend in the high school, Stephen High School, from the soccer team, Levi
Yes.
Busching.
Thanks for having me, Emmanuel.
How you doing, Levi?
I'm doing pretty well. How
You,
about you?
yeah, pretty good, man. How's been
Nice.
going back to school and just going back to playing soccer and all that?
Yeah, I think going back to school, I actually thought this year would be harder than it has been. I really haven't had that much work, but it's been a pretty good year, I guess, so far.
This is a question that I have, I think, for every youth that I have talked with. Do you feel that you have learned something this year? A lot of the work is like online, so it's not the same
Mm.
interaction with teachers. So how you feel about that?
Right. I think I've still learned a lot. I think I haven't learned as much as I would in a regular year, of course, but the teachers still have stuff that they need to get done in the year. And so I think my teachers have actually been really good about still pushing us this year, even though I guess in a lot of my classes the homework hasn't been as bad.
What is that class that you feel that is like giving you the most trouble this year because you're not in person like most of the time?
Well, I'm in person. We've been in person a
Mm.
lot, I guess. So when we weren't in person, I
Mm.
think the hardest class was probably Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, probably because so much of it is talking to other people and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it's not the hardest class, but it's the hardest to do online, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want, we can do this podcast in Spanish right now.
Oh, I'm all right. That's all right.
Thank you so much for coming, Levi, today. So, you know what is the dynamic here? This space is to you to share your spiritual journey with people inside of our congregation and also from people outside of our congregation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, I want tell us like how would people describe you?
I think people would describe me as hardworking and
Okay,
probably intelligent because, like in school and soccer, I work hard, and I hope they would describe me as funny
okay,
and definitely nice. Like I hope they would think that I'm a good friend and a good person to be around.
okay. I I well I know and I you're a really polite person and I think
Thank
you
you.
have really good manners and like also you're really funny. I think you have a really like nice like sense of humor. So
Good.
for sure I'm not the only one that have that thought about you. So um, do you have any hobbies? What do you do?
Yeah, I really like playing soccer with people, whether it's club or high school or just for fun,
Mm-hmm.
just messing around. I think that's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I also play the violin in orchestra, and I
Oh.
like that because it's kind of a social thing too, because a lot of my friends do it. And so it's not just playing, it's also hanging out with people. I guess just in general, I like hanging out with friends, doing different things.
Okay. Do you so when you like start to play the violin,
Mhm.
is that was your first option or what? Or you try different instruments and you like
Oh, well, actually, starting out in probably kindergarten, I played the piano,
okay.
and I played the piano up until freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the piano for me, it helped me learn music, but also there was a point where I kind of like peaked in my piano, and then I probably didn't practice as much as I should have. It went downhill. And so then, kind of in the middle of that journey
Mm-hmm.
in fourth grade, I started playing the violin, and I mean, I think I like that a lot more because it's a lot more social than piano,
Mm.
but still both are fun, I think.
That's good. That's good. And what about soccer? How it's being because soccer is about team,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah,
playing teams. Like one person cannot do anything, like
right,
everything, right?
right.
Well, some people try to do that, but like that's not like
Definitely.
football, right? Like the well, soccer in this
Yeah.
case. So how you feel working like with other people? Like, do you trust in them? How is
hmm
that process of like?
Yeah, last year for high school, I really liked my team. You could count on everyone in there. Everyone was a really strong player. And I think in practice, everyone really pushed each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach that we have now is really about us pushing each other. And so, and through all the fitness and stuff, that's just like, I know that they gave a lot of effort, and so then
Mm.
that really makes me trust them.
Do you feel that is the trust is just inside of the court, or like you can actually translate that trust outside, or there's like more like specific groups outside of like the soccer team?
I think I definitely would trust my teammates almost anywhere. Obviously, there's cases where I where I wouldn't, where it is different,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that they would all have my back if it comes down to it. So
No,
I think
that
that's good.
that's amazing. That
Yeah,
like yeah, totally like sports and especially like team sports, right?
definitely.
Like help to grow a different kind of trust. You know,
Mhm.
like you can meet one person outside, but like when you have like teammates, right? Like it's a different kind of trust, and I
Yeah,
think like
it's definitely different.
pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Um, Levi, so let's jump into the main part of this, and it's
Uh-huh.
your spiritual journey, man. Like from the time that I've been here, I always noticed that you are a really spiritual person. Your family is really spiritual. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like I think like your mom and your dad are like really amazing person, and like I think they have give you a lot of like tools to have a strong faith. But
Definitely.
other than your parents, who has been a person that has impacted you in your spiritual life?
Well, I think you, Emmanuel, like being around you, and also definitely the pastors because they're so knowledgeable about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think other friends here, and I kind of gotta call this out, but the messy conversations thing, I just went to the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was actually really good because it's just a bunch of high schoolers like coming around the issues that we feel are important,
Mm-hmm.
and so I feel like that's helped me to definitely like try to expand my faith
Mm-hmm.
further.
Do you find a difference to talk about faith problems or like your journey, your spiritual journey with high schoolers easier, or it's easier to talk it with your pastor or with someone that is elder? What is easier for you?
I think it's probably easier to talk with people your own age just
Mm.
because they share a lot of the experiences with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also important to go to the pastors for a lot of questions that like we don't have the answer to, and maybe they don't have the entire answer either, but they can at least give us some insight into like the way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's yeah. So would you will encourage the people of your age to actually like like get closer to the pastor, so like if they have any doubt, just like go and ask them, right?
Yeah, I think because I've talked to Pastor Chris a few times, but just a week ago I talked to Pastor Eric, and he gave me some really good insight that I think, because I think he's young, so he still um, thinks similar to how we do.
Hmm. Okay. What where do you find God during your day?
I think I find God. I think mostly when I think of him is when my friends are having a hard time, and I want him to help them because a lot of friends I have are religious, but a lot of them aren't.
Mm.
And I would like I would like him to help them find their way because they go through a lot of hard times, and that's hard to see.
Do you find difficult to help them to approach God? Like, do you know, like,
Yeah.
because like you want to say like just do a prayer or something like that, but
Uh-huh.
you know that they're not religious, right? Like they
Mhm.
don't.
Right.
So how you do that approach, or just is something that you like actually do it like inside and like keep it to yourself, but you're also praying for them, like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not trying to convert them or anything, but I think trying to help them and like explaining to them a little bit like how faith impacts my life
Mm.
because I think it's been really influential for me. And I don't know if they'll see it that way, but even if they're not religious, they can see like through some of the teachings that Jesus had and stuff, like it doesn't have to be religious. It's just a good message for how to live your life anyways.
How faith impact your life?
I think it's definitely made me happier and more stable. Just not even consciously, just subconsciously, made me happier because even when I'm going through a hard time and I'm like, I should have studied more for that test or something. I'm like, well, I'm not a total failure because, God still loves me regardless of what. And like, all I need to do is pray and he'll be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Wow, that's actually pretty deep, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank
that's
you.
nice. That's totally like that's the way that you see it, and I think that some of us like see it the same way.
Uh-huh.
I wish when I used to go to high school, I would just pray to God and God give me all the answers, but
Yeah.
God never gave me the answers for my test. So
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
difficult part about it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
still. I don't think I pray enough still, but I'm working on it
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So.
Um, do you have any impactful experience like here at church camp, like something that has like helped you to shape your faith?
Yeah, I think at church getting closer to people that share these experiences, like just talking to them and stuff. So I'd say that my most impactful thing is just talking to other faithful people. I don't know if there's any like specific moment that I
Mm.
can think of.
Yeah, and sometimes people doesn't have that specific. A lot of people
Uh-huh.
have that specific moment, like,
Mhm.
but others is just like the daily thing of like being around church and all that stuff. And I think
Right.
that's also it's really impactful, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that like Wednesday night and like this like all these activities that you've been through here at South Kenya has like helped you also to shape your faith?
Yeah, I think so because like for volunteer work and stuff shown me to actually go out into the community and you gotta help people.
Hmm.
I think that's a part of youth group that I like is the volunteer stuff.
So something that I noticed, you and I, and we start to work on Kids Against Hunger.
Hmm.
Tell me about it. Like, how you feel to be part of the board of that? How would you call it? That
Organization.
organization.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, so far I haven't really done much on the board, honestly. my,
Mhm.
my mom set up a lot of just small packs, but
Mhm.
I know, what is it? I'm not even sure the date, honestly, but coming up we're gonna have National Honor Society
The
do a
24th.
pack the 24th. Okay. Yeah, so doing that. I think that's a good thing just for people to get volunteer hours, but then also to help people by doing that.
Do you feel passionate about like packing food, or what do you find meaningful on that?
I think it's kind of fun to pack the food.
Okay.
I think it's I think it's good that it helps other people, but it's just kind of I don't know, it just helps you get a little closer to the people in your church, like
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you have people of all ages just packing stuff, and you might not even really talk to them that much, but just being with them makes you feel like you know them a little bit better.
That's pretty nice. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like we like to do fun stuff, and whenever it's something that helps someone else and also is fun, I think it's a really good combination, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so I talked to you before this, and I asked you to pick three
Hmm.
questions, right?
Right.
So, what was the questions that you
I
picked?
think C, D, and E
Okay, C, D, and
in a
E.
row. Yeah.
All right. So C
Hmm.
is, what would you think is your purpose?
I think my purpose is to help people. Like, I would really like to, as a career, be an engineer, something that's helping to um, impact or to reverse climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's a lot of different stuff. And I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do, but I think helping the future generations because that's going to be a really big problem. And so I hope that's what I do with my life, is something like that.
Does some of the decisions that you're taking now um, are because like let me rephrase this.
Hmm.
Is faith or like everything that you have learned about like being Christian are taking that place to like help you to guide you to like where you want to go? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, I think so. Um, Being Christian, I think has helped me with has made me want to help people, but also is just like to help the future generations, whether they're Christian or not, like to help them on their journey, whatever it is, and to help them on their journey, they need to have an earth that they can live on.
mm-hmm,
And so I think that's kind of my thinking. And I think a lot of people my age, if they're looking into science, a lot of them are looking into the technologies like fusion technology that will help the world in the future.
okay, that's amazing. That's a
Yeah.
different, even like a different total thought of like my generation like used to have. You know, like I
Yeah.
think like you're right that like a lot of people is trying to. We're more conscious now, like
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
what we have done to the earth, and I think like there's people that want to like change that.
Yeah.
What about for what in your life do you feel the most grateful?
I feel really grateful that I grew up in a Christian household
Mm.
because I feel like if my parents weren't Christian, nobody in my family was Christian, it might be really hard to find God in
Mm.
that situation. And so I think it's really great that I was able to, come to church at a young age and everything. And even like at that young age when I didn't understand what it is, now I've been I've experienced it, so now I can like decide for myself
Mm.
whether it's a good thing for me or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just that overall experience and like um, the impact that my parents have had on me is really big.
Yeah, you have really good roots.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
like you know like as I told you at the beginning, I think your parents like have done a really good job with
Yeah,
you and your
definitely.
brother, and
Yeah,
for sure they actually like impact
yeah,
on like what you do, and
yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
Last one, man. Do you
Hmm.
think younger you would be happy with what you have become?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this one, and I think younger me would be happy with a lot of the things that I've done, kind of the person I've become. But I also think there's a lot of stuff that I haven't done yet that
Mm-hmm.
I like there's still a lot of room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there will ever be a point where of course I'm totally happy with myself because there's always more stuff I can do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think generally younger Levi would be pretty happy with current Levi.
Mm-hmm.
I
Do you ever imagine that like because when we're kids and we're younger, you're
Mhm.
like I just like I don't we don't have an idea, but like we just wanted to be like successful and stuff like that. Do you would you call yourself a successful person right now?
Yeah, well, I'm not a superhero like younger Levi would have wished,
Yeah.
but um,
But you're the legend.
yeah, I'm the
In
legend.
soccer, you're like
Yeah,
what I can say.
yeah, I think would be pretty happy.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
For sure, I'm sure all the people that like met you before and have seen how all your process of like
uh-huh.
grow and everything,
Right.
they're like really happy about that. Like the man that you have become, for
Yeah.
sure. So congratulations, man. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to share something with the people, or
Um, Geez, I'm not sure.
and
I think,
that's okay.
yeah, I think that kind of sums it up.
Would you like to invite some people to start to do packings? How they can contact your mom to be interested to pack some stuff for kids against hunger?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say I probably won't give you her cell her cell number, but if you want to email her, it's the Bushings at gmail.com. Bushings is Busching, and that's just no caps, no spaces. So hope
Mm,
you hope you volunteer.
that's good, man. Thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching us again. We hope that we can see you next week. Have a good day.